She vanished on Christmas Eve, and the man who loved her knew more than he said. Laci Peterson was 27 years old, 8 months pregnant, and preparing for the arrival of her first child. She lived in Modesto, California, with her husband, Scott Peterson. Friends described her as warm, kind, and deeply excited about becoming a mother. She had already chosen a name for her unborn son, Connor. As Christmas approached, her life appeared full of promise. But behind the appearance of a happy marriage, something was wrong. Unseen tensions and secret decisions were quietly moving this family toward tragedy. A husband under suspicion. As police questioned Scott Peterson, his behavior raised concerns. He appeared calm, controlled, and strangely detached for a man whose pregnant wife had vanished. Instead of panic, he focused on details. Instead of desperation, he maintained composure. Then investigators uncovered a crucial detail. Scott Peterson had been involved in an extramarital affair with a woman named Amber Fry. Even more disturbing was the timing. Weeks before Laci disappeared, Scott had told Amber that this would be his first Christmas without his wife, while Laci was still alive. Shocked and afraid, Amber Fry contacted police and agreed to cooperate. From that point forward, investigators secretly recorded her phone calls with Scott. With each conversation, his lies grew harder to hide. A nation watching. As days turned into weeks, the disappearance of Laci Peterson became national news. Search teams scoured parks, rivers, and farmland. Vigils were held across Modesto. Viewers across the country watched Scott Peterson give interviews, insisting on his innocence. But behind the scenes, recorded calls painted a different picture. Scott avoided discussing Laci. He lied about his whereabouts. He spoke about himself more than the missing woman carrying his child. Public opinion began to shift, and suspicion grew louder with every passing day. The shoreline discovery. Nearly 4 months later, on April 13, 2003, the truth surfaced along the shoreline of the San Francisco Bay. First, the body of a woman was discovered. Soon after, the remains of a male fetus were found nearby. DNA confirmed the unimaginable. The bodies were Laci Peterson and her unborn son, Connor. The location stunned investigators. The remains were found near the Berkeley Marina, the exact place Scott Peterson claimed he had been fishing on Christmas Eve. For many, the case had crossed from suspicion into certainty. The arrest. Just days later, Scott Peterson was arrested. At the time, he had dyed his hair and was carrying large amounts of cash, camping gear, and multiple cell phones. Prosecutors believed he was preparing to flee. He was charged with first-degree murder for the death of Laci Peterson and second-degree murder for the death of their unborn son. The man once seen as a grieving husband was now accused of committing one of the most infamous murders in modern American history. The trial that divided America. The trial began in 2004 and quickly became a media spectacle. Prosecutors argued that Scott Peterson murdered Laci to escape responsibility, marriage, fatherhood, and the life he no longer wanted. They presented recorded phone calls, witness testimony, timeline inconsistencies, and evidence placing him near the bay. The defense argued that Laci had been abducted by burglars and that Scott was a victim of media bias and circumstantial evidence. But after months of testimony, the jury was unconvinced. TTH verdict. In November 2004, Scott Peterson was found guilty of first-degree murder for Laci and second-degree murder for Connor. In 2005, he was sentenced to death. Years later, the death sentence was overturned due to jury selection issues, but the conviction remained. Scott Peterson was resentenced to life in prison without parole. Justice, though delayed, had been delivered. Legacy of the case. The murder of Laci Peterson changed the legal landscape. It led to the passage of Laci and Connor's Law, which recognizes unborn children as separate victims of violent crime. It also forced the nation to confront uncomfortable truths about domestic violence, deception, and trust. The case remains debated, but its impact is undeniable. Final reflection. Laci Peterson trusted the man she loved. She never imagined that Christmas Eve would be her final day. Her story is not just one of loss, but of betrayal, a reminder that deception can exist even in the most ordinary places. Laci Peterson's story is one of love, betrayal, and a truth that refused to stay buried. It's a case that changed laws, challenged trust, and left a lasting mark on a nation. If this documentary helped you understand the case more deeply, take a moment to support the work. Tap like if you believe Laci and Connor deserve to be remembered. Subscribe for more in-depth true crime stories told with care and respect. And leave a comment below. Do you believe justice was fully served in this case? Thank you for watching. Stay aware, and we'll see you in the next case.